6-3 notes. I had a file open this morning. That's not what I meant. I can't hear you, Abby. Oh, I post them raw. I don't care to edit my videos. I could live stream. It would just take up a lot of bandwidth, and then like the Chromebooks would run slower, and like so that's why I wouldn't do that. And I don't think anyone would really watch my live stream.
Do like a weekend live stream. Let's do it on Switch.
On what?
Switch.
What's Switch?
Switch is the gaming live stream. You now. Welcome back to Math Talk.
Alright, so what was weird about how they solved this problem? Our smart work file's pulling up. You can see on the homework board, I shifted the 6-3 homework. I extended the due date. It is tonight's homework. But Xavier, you said you think you remember why we said their process was kind of awkward here. Why is it?
It was like, did you say like this part was really awkward? This part right here?
Yeah, why?
I just remember we have to like turn it.
Abby, do you remember why this is awkward?
Instead of dividing.
Hey guys, I don't know why I hear noises. Like animal-esque noises. We're in the 7th grade, and I don't know why I hear all this extra chatter or whatever, but the fact that a classmate is talking and somebody's like, knock it off. We're a month into school. We expect 7th grade behavior. This is the point where we don't put up with things.
Please pardon the interruption. If anyone has entertainment books or money from the entertainment book sale to turn in, please make sure they are turned in today. Again, if you have entertainment books or money from the entertainment
If you know you have it in your locker or whatever, just go.
Drop them off in the office today. Thank you.
So this is the point, and you will notice we are having less patience for that because you guys should know. So if you feel the need to disrupt my class, I will feel the need to kick you out of my class. So now that that's clear, Abby.
So instead of dividing the 130, instead of dividing 130 by 100, they divided 800 by 100.
Yeah, do you guys see this? The 130, nothing changes to it.
But it should be 13.
Ooh, close.
No.
The other route, and you should write this because I feel like a lot of you didn't because we did it at the end of class yesterday. The other route that we would have taken. This is the Pearson solution. I don't agree with it. It works because multiplication's commutative. I can multiply or divide in the problem wherever I want, but we would have divided the 130 by 100, gotten 1.3 times the 800, because instead of 8, it would have stayed 800, and this would have still came out to be 1,040. That's what's weird about their solution. And they do that because dividing 800 by 100 is easier because you don't end up with a decimal value. So if you want to do this, you can. Totally allowed to.
Isn't it like more proper to do it like 130 divided by 100?
Yeah, if you want to look at the percent work, but all percent means is divide by 100.
Yeah.
So as long as you divide by 100 to something, you're okay.
I just kind of agree with you.
Yeah, but like, so, long story short, if this method's confusing, forget about it. Use the methods that we've been using. Oh, my announcements. Whenever there's stuff written on the chalkboard, please help me try to remember to do it because once you guys get in here, I start rolling really fast. We have the Phoenix Garage Sale this weekend, but I'll come back to that. In your Math 7 page, as students come to work with me, I am now recording, and I put up an update that there's new content in the Help Me folder. I'm now recording anything I do, like that I have had multiple questions for, as we work at my desk. So it's going to look a little weird because you're going to see my screen, like the background of my computer screen. But I did adding mixed numbers with different signs. This is a problem straight from the Progressing to Mastery of Chapter 4. So if you're still working on that, you can use these. Division with fractions of different signs. Again, a problem straight from the Progressing to Mastery. Squaring a negative number. Another problem straight from the Progressing to Mastery. So if you are still having any struggles, check out the Help Me folder. And these videos are short. That's 3 minutes because that's a little bit more of a process. This is 1 minute, 13 seconds. So in the amount of time it takes you to get to the video, you can probably watch the video just as quickly. So watch the Help Me folder for new content. I've now, instead of doing Chapter 4, I've just made a whole Unit B. So Chapters 4, 5, and 6 will all be in the same folder. And I'll just name the videos whatever we're working on. So it's not specific to a certain section, like 4, 4 or something like that. It's just adding mixed numbers with different signs. Because we do that multiple places. Yeah, Izzy? So that goes to the garage sale. Last night, we went out and did more pickups for the garage sale. We started at 5 o'clock, which we get out of school at 4:30, so you can do the math to figure out how long I had to change and let my dogs out and everything. I got home just after 10 o'clock. I had yet to eat dinner. By the time I ate dinner and took care of what I needed to at home, it was 11. No. So I had no time to put your grades into math. I apologize. I'm trying to help us make $10,000 for the school because that's our goal for the garage sale. So if you're dying to have your test back, I have a planning period right after this. So I'm going to put those grades into math during my planning period. If you want your test back, come see me at AOR Extensions or some other time today. I will have them ready to give back to you. I have them graded. They're just not in math, and I can't give them back to you if they're not in math. That would be pointless. So, talking about the garage sale, these are all pictures I went and took this morning. So, it is Friday and Saturday. Friday, it's 8 to 3. Saturday, it's 8 to 2. So, when you get out of school on Friday, you could go to the garage sale. So, that's available to you, but you can't go in there you are not allowed in there right now. It is locked up. You are not allowed in there. But since you're not allowed in there, I thought I'd show you guys some of what's down there and what we've been moving. Because we filled up the U-Haul about 5 times last night. And the reason we're talking about this is some of your math homework in 6.5, I wrote problems about the garage sale. So because how we price things, it's mathematical. There's percent equations involved. So things that are down at the garage sale, lots of there's a bunch of fabrics from Joann Fabrics. There's all kinds of cookware. This is the gym right now, completely full. Athletic equipment, ellipticals, exercise bikes, rowing machines, skiing machines, bike parts, pieces, pumps, things like that. Ping pong table, really, really nice ping pong table, actually. One of those chairs that has speakers in it for gaming. TVs, stack of laptops, row of desktop computers. All of these are like 20 bucks, 15, 10 bucks. Yeah. Yeah. Tools. If you're trying to build up your toolbox or your dad needs any tools, it looks like a plumber brought like all of his old tools. All kinds of furniture, couches. This is a giant, not beanbag, but it's like a giant cushion chair that you can unzip and it becomes a twin-size bed.
It's mine.
Giant 3-piece entertainment center. Really nice. That's a really nice wood piece and very heavy. We moved that last night. Outdoor play toys for kids, indoor toys, games, puzzles, cars, trucks, things for kids. And there's stuff under the tables, too. There's so much stuff down there ready to go under the tables. Girl stuff, stuffed animals, things like that. Bunch of bicycles. Lots of bicycles. Guitars. Electric and acoustic. Books. A ton of books. Lots of kids' books, so especially if you have any younger siblings. Baskets. Lots of adults like to have baskets around to keep things in or put things in. Holiday decorations, so Christmas, Halloween, all that stuff coming up. Houseware, so glasses and decorations, antiques, things like that. The middle of the room is all giant stuff. So entertainment centers, couches, chairs, really nice stuff. Shelving units. This is an Amish built desk that sells for over $1,000. It right now at the yard sale is priced at $400, and I guarantee it will sell for $400. So if you really, and there's other desks that aren't as nice, but this is handmade wood, and this rolls. It's called a wood roll or a roll top desk. This rolls down to cover the desk and hide all your papers and stuff. So it's a very cool desk. There's another shot of it. You can see all those files and drawers. Artwork to hang on your wall. The one I care about right here, Captain America. And this is a pretty cool picture of Earth. Lots of artwork, mirrors and stuff like that. And that's pretty, so lots of stuff down there. You need to be telling your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors, your church, everybody that you possibly can Friday and Saturday. If they don't get here by Saturday at 2 o'clock, we put it all on a truck and donate it. So we're trying to make $10,000. We need your help. What are you talking about? Call them, text them, email them, have your parents send out something, put it in the, like, your church probably has a Facebook group. Yeah, hey, you are not allowed unless you are volunteering. Yeah, so if your parents are volunteering, you can go there with your parents, but you are not allowed to just go down there. You are not allowed to go down there without a parent. During school, outside of school, whatever, until tomorrow after school when the sale is happening. Anybody's welcome there.
That's what people steal.
Yeah, and just because we don't need kids down there making things more difficult. We're trying to buy things right now. Nothing is for sale right now. Sale starts at 8 a.m. tomorrow. There will be crazy people, and we lock those doors. We chain those gym doors so nobody could get into the school. There will be crazy people that come and pay to shop early. They literally pay like an extra $20 to get in an hour earlier than everybody else. So some people take garage sales very serious. Now, why the heck am I telling you about the garage sale aside from the fact that we are doing, we're trying to make $10,000. Down there, they're using math. Who would have thought? 4, and you don't need to write this down. I'm just telling you because it's fun to talk about. The garage sale price that they are doing for most items. Do not write this right here because this has nothing to do with that problem. That stands for original. So what percent of the original price are we trying to mark the price at? What percent is this? Is he? 38%, right? Not 0.38, because I couldn't hear you quite. If there's no percent sign on it, it's 38%. If I had a percent sign on it, then it'd be 0.38%, which I'd have to convert over to do the math. But we charge 38%. Now, on Saturday, if things haven't sold and we start getting towards the end of the sale, we drop everything to half price of what it's marked at. So when we go half price of what it was marked at, what percent would that then be? You know it? No. That's 50% of this, but what percent of the original? If you're doing half of the price we had marked, do you know? Yeah, we end up on Saturday selling items for 19% or less than what they originally cost. So like that ping pong table, that's like a professional table tennis table. It's a TIGA, T-I-G-A, like one of the best table tennis companies. There's an elliptical down there that's like perfect. The guy just said, it's too big, I want rid of it. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. So encourage your family, your friends, your neighbors. Come out tomorrow and Saturday. Justin. All kinds. There's different sets. I've gotten so many speakers from this garage sale because by Saturday at 1 o'clock, things are like dirt cheap. I'm like, fine, I guess I'll buy some speakers if I have to. Because it's better for us to make $3 than not sell it and make nothing. You know what I mean? So we'll sell things for very cheap at the end of the day Saturday. But the risk is somebody else could have already bought it for that higher price. So if you're waiting for the cheaper price, that's the danger of it. One last question, then we got to go. You can't buy anything till tomorrow. So, like, if your mom or dad wants to volunteer tonight in helping sort and price and take the final donations that come in tonight, you could come with them, but you still can't purchase anything till tomorrow.
But you can't, like, hold it.
I mean, that would be a question for Miss Rosie. I mean, if you ask your parent, like, hey, can you ask Miss Rosie about this? She might let it happen, but the issue is money. Like, we can't collect money. And if we do, it has to get turned into the office and put into the safe. So when the PTSA starts the sale on Friday, that's the PTSA collecting money, not us. Like, not teachers or anybody. And they have different accounts. They go and they take it to, like, Huntington or somewhere, and they deposit it. And yeah, so that's why it's like we can't take money yet. Can't take money till Friday, Saturday. I don't know if I've said this already, but the main reason we talked about this is it will show up on your homework. So don't be surprised when there's Phoenix Garage Sale questions on the homework, just like later in the fall when we do Phoenix, which, by the way, in 12 minutes, it's officially fall, in case you didn't know that. At 10:21, it's the fall solstice, or the autumn solstice. So in 12 minutes, it will officially be fall. Or, according to my clock, 11 minutes. So, back on your notes, on the back of the paper. Did we talk about student A and student B?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Student A is right. Make sure what should have been written here. Who actually wrote it down? Jack? If you want to really paraphrase, convert percent to decimal. You've got to convert your percent to the decimal form. And not decimal percent form, but just decimal. No percent sign involved. So now, gators. We didn't talk about this, right? That's what I thought. So, one of the careers that I think is very, very interesting is animal researcher. They pay people, and this is one of the cool things. You guys should explore all what careers there are. They pay people to go watch animals and collect data about animals. When we do the Discover Columbus trip, one of the options that we have when we go to the zoo is being a animal data collections specialist or something like that. You go and you observe an animal and you document what they do. When do they eat? When do they sleep? When do they interact with each other? Do they seem happy? Do they seem sad? So we're researching the alligator population. And this year, we expect the population will have gone up. Hang on for a second. Because animals reproduce. And alligators aren't really hunted. So you would expect the population would continue to go up. Some gators die because they get old. And then new gators, happen from reproduction. So if last year we had 60 gators, we want to find out this year's population. So the first thing we want to write is that verbal statement. So we want to write this year is 120% of last year. This year is 20% of last year. Or sorry, 120%. So we know because it's over 100, it'll be more. Abby? I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's okay.
They show that they are their habitat. They hunt gators.
No, they
Alright.
don't.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's where people have gators in their backyard and they have dogs and stuff.
So, we then... Hey, Jaheim, can you hang out till we finish this one problem? Then you can go. We then introduce a variable for whatever I don't know. What is it that we don't know? Justin? What is it I don't know? Justin?
How much the population grew?
Yeah, but what am I asking about? We're not asking how much did it grow by.
I know.
Yes, I see your hand. I've got to get different people involved. Andrew? Yeah. This is what we don't know. Not how many it went up by, but how many there are total now. So you're ahead of us. You're thinking of percent change, which is actually 6. I think that's three lessons from today. So I'm going to say P for population, and also that's my part in my equation, is converts to what mathematically? What does is convert to? Mathematical symbol, Abby? That's, nope, of is multiplication, per is divide. Equals. If I tell you 2 times 3 is 6, it's the equals.
It's the product.
120%, I cannot use 120%. I must, Hayden, put it in a decimal form, which we said yesterday, percent means what? What does Xavier? Percent. Divide by 100. Sorry, I couldn't see. Your hand's in front of your mouth. I can't hear you as well. So divide by 100 to convert to a decimal. We really just divide by 100, and that gives me 1.2 of tells me to. That's per. Of tells me to, Bella. Multiply. And guys, if you're struggling on any of this, I would maybe put connections. That is the equals, of is the multiply. How many was in last year's population? Shane? 60. Make your life easier. I'm going to do two things that make everything easier, but they cancel each other out. I don't want to work with a decimal. So like we said, we can momentarily ignore it. And I can move it and act like this is 12. But remember, whatever I do, I have to undo. Here's the really easy part. I can grab this decimal and undo the shift that I just did before I even do the math. And now I can think of this like 12 times 6. Now you could grab a calculator and do 1.2 times 60. But if you want to be able to do it in your head, I can move this decimal right and move that decimal left and make it super easy. Because then this tells me that this year's gator population will be 72. All right, you're good now, Gene, if you got that down. So, if we asked about the change in the gators, it'd be 12. So we could say then that 20%, the change that it went up, equaled 12 gators, but it didn't ask us for the change. It asked us for how many are there now. Any questions on that problem? Yeah. What do you mean the other one?
So like the other number. So like you move like the decimal to after the 2 and then you add a 0 to the 600 or to the 16 and it becomes 600.
No, so you're thinking of if I had moved this decimal.
Did you sit on it?
Give it a second. My chair's dangerously close. I need to shift where my computer is. Anything that happens can be undone. Well, okay. Not anything, but technology-wise, don't ever freak out about technology. You can normally fix it. This. So hold up. I need your eyes up here. Because, guys, if you want your life to be easier, I told you at the beginning of the year, I'm trying to make your life easier. This is how you make math a lot easier. When I shift this decimal to the right and turn 1.2 into 12, that is actually a multiplication by 10. Do you understand what, so I have multiplied by 10 on the right side of my equation, and I didn't do anything on the left side. But I then, to my 60, divide by 10. And if I have a value, let's say x, that I multiply by 10 and then divide by 10, what do I end up with? The same thing I started with. So since I did a multiplication by 10 and a division by 10, they cancel each other out and just make the math easy. Now you don't have to do this, but it makes your life easier. So if you don't understand this, you can come ask me about it. We can work together on it. I would like you to understand how this makes your life easier, and maybe we'll make a worksheet and practice some decimal shifting to make life easy. But right now, all you need to understand is we could do this multiplication straight through. You could stack it and do it the old way. You could do the boxes and do the array method. You could use a calculator, or mentally use your brain power. Figure it out that way. Abby, question?
Isn't this kind of like, it's either like associative property or additive?
It's kind of, It's actually the multiplicative property of equality, which we haven't really talked about yet, but what that property tells me is I can multiply an equation by whatever I want as long as I do it to both sides or undo it at the end. Like, so normally we use that when solving equations when I have like half of x equals 5 and then I double it to find out what all of x and then I double the other side.
Okay.
So if you've ever seen those Ocean Spray commercials, I'm fairly certain they're a lie. Not that like the commercials are a lie, but they're standing in water about this deep. Cranberries don't grow that tall.
Oh, those.
So a bog. What's a bog? I don't know what a bog is. Yeah, you walked on one? Yeah, they're fun.
But it's like really foggy. It's like mush. You can't get out. It's like dark.
Anthony? You're right, but it's kind of like a swamp. So depending on the type of bog, it can either be actually ground on top of water, which is when you get really bouncy bogs. There was one at the church camp I went to. You could walk on it and literally like bounce on the ground, like, and it would like flex under you. It was in Ohio, Camp Wanakee. But bogs where cranberries grow are dirt then covered with water, completely saturated. So like Colin was saying, you like can't get out of it. Yeah, but it's completely saturated. It's hard to like walk around in it. So this is why they don't really want to walk around the bog. Those guys that are standing in the middle of the water, they don't really do that. To pick cranberries, they flood it. And they flood it to 4,800%.
Oh my. Okay.
Almost 5,000% of a quarter inch. So if we start with a quarter inch, we need to figure out 4,800% of that depth. So we want to find out the flooded depth. So I would put the flood is 4,800% of the quarter inch. I should really use cards. We've talked. Well, I know, but no offense, but we need to hear from multiple people, not just Abby runs math class. So Casey, if I go to convert 48,000 to a decimal, how do I do that? And the other question we could ask is, what does percent mean? Divide. What does cent mean? What is, Casey, just think, how many cents are in $1? 100. So it's just divide by 100. So this becomes, you know what it becomes, Casey? When I do division, here's the trick. Stacked zeros cancel out. That 0 cancels that 0. That 0 cancels that 0. And this just becomes 48. Of turns into multiplication. Let me get 1/4. So a fourth of 48
12 inches.
is 12 inches. So when they flood the bog to pick the berries, it's this tall. Not this tall. It's this tall.
It's just like a giant place. So
It is. It's a huge field. So this is the other really ingenious way that they do it. There is an episode of Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. I love Mike Rowe. He's a great guy. Where they go and they do cranberry picking. So let's say this is the bog. They got this big space. They never really, like they put on waders, but they never really go out into the bog. Well, one person might, but they just walk the edge. Because they have a stack of boards that have a peg at one end and a hole at the other end. So they lay out a board, they put the peg into the next board, they lay that out, put the peg into the next board, lay that out, and they start in one place, they lay out a board, connect another one, lay it out, connect another one, and they keep pushing it all the way around the bog after it's been flooded, because cranberries are less dense than water. So what will happen since cranberries are less dense than water? Andrew? Yeah, density tells me what will float or what will sink. The less dense it is, it goes to the top. So when they flood the bog, the cranberries pick themselves. As opposed to strawberries, you have to go pick them by hand. So all the cranberries float, and they shove all these boards all the way around the bog back to a conveyor belt. And then they have a guy on this side and a guy on that side, and they just start pulling. Because as they pull the boards towards them, it grabs all those floating cranberries and pulls it towards the conveyor belt. Any cranberries that didn't pick themselves, they then drain the bog, and those cranberries keep growing. Because if they didn't float to the top, they weren't ready to be picked. It's an ingenious method involving math and science. Because the buoyancy is a science thing. They figured out cranberries float. We don't need to pick these. Let them pick themselves. So search up Micro Dirty Jobs Cranberry Farm if you want to see that. It's pretty interesting. Question. No, they just they're floating and they just kind of push it towards the side. So the cranberries float up to the top of the water. They flood it deeper than the plant so that if the cranberry is ready to be picked, it picks itself. Yeah, because it's got pressure pushing upward because the buoyancy. It's like the opposite of gravity. When things want to float, you're pushing upward. So this is one of the hardest types of problems when students have to figure out the percent, and it's not asking you a straight up, what is 96 out of 112 or 12 or whatever. We don't ask these problems as easy as you want. It's not just like type it in a calculator to get the answer. So you need to be familiar with converting to the mathematical statement. We already said that is becomes what? The equals, right? We'll do class on these. Of becomes what? Times or multiplication. So I know 96 equals some unknown percent times 12. So do you think your percent is going to be over 100 or under 100? And why? You got to justify. Are those hands or no? No? Ooh, yeah. What do you think? Yeah, thank you, Julia. 96 is bigger than 12. I'm going to have to multiply by something more than 1, so that's more than 100%. This takes us to our first equation solving. Instead of a question mark, we like variables, but don't use p because we have part and percent. So I'm just going to use sure, let's say h for Hudson. I don't care, but 8's not a variable, 8's a number. So, check this out. I want to solve for h. Right now, h is in a relationship with something. It's in a relationship with 12. Right? They're cute. They're together. But we don't like 12h. We want to break them up. They're a bad couple. We got a little bit of junior high drama. So, what connects h and 12? What brings them together? What joins them together? They have a deep past. What operation? Abby? You're ahead of me. What operation joins them together right now? Multiplication. They are married by multiplication.
So they had children.
We want to break them up. What? Being married does not mean you have kids. I've been married for 5 years. Let's just leave it. Leave it. Doesn't matter. Gravity works. That's what we learned today. So, leave it. I got it. Next period is my plan period. It's fine. To break up a multiplication relationship. Shane, what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So, we divide, and we don't want to get rid of the h. We want to get rid of the 12, so we divide by 12. But the multiplicative or division property of equality says if I do something on this side, I have to also do it on that side. So we divide by 12, and Colin, you already told me that then leads me to h equaling 8.
So, yeah. And then
So
you add
8%?
No.
No. This is the rate. When you solve this problem, this value for percent is actually the rate percent. So it's not 8%,
No, it's not.
Colin.
800.
We have to multiply by 100 to make it 800%.
Yay.
Yeah, because it's 8 times that starting value. So let's work through some true and false. Try these on your own. Take about a minute or so, then we'll talk about them all together. Well, hopefully my live shows that you
I think
All right, 30 more seconds. I left my coffee back here. Kylie. A tells me a pet grasshopper jumps 6% higher than its old jump. His new record is 106% of his old jump. Is that true or false, Kylie? Put your hand down. You're not Kylie. So we get like 1.06, right? So that would be saying this jump is 1.06 times the old jump. So would that be higher than the old jump or lower? If you multiply by more than 1. If we multiply by more than 1, we get higher, right? So if his new jump is higher, what if his new jump was exactly the same as his old jump? His new jump would be 100%, right? So if we increase by 6%, then we just add 6% to the 100. This is true. And you could document, we do the original jump plus that 6% gain, and that is how we got the 106. An ant weighs 3 milligrams, and the ant can pick up a 30 milligram leaf. CJ, the ant is carrying 110% of its weight. Is that true or false? Why? What percent of his weight is he actually carrying? Or think about what multiple of his weight is he actually carrying? He's carrying 10 times his weight, right? So what would 10 times, well, if it's 10 times the original, what does that 10 become as a percent? Well, remember to go from decimal to percent, we multiply by 100, and we get 1,000%. So they added 10%. They shouldn't have added. They should have multiplied by 10, and they should have gotten 1,000% would be right. Sorry, not 100. 1,000 would be the right answer. The right answer would be 1,000%.
So 110 is wrong.
110 is wrong. That's why we said false. The wingspan of a monarch butterfly, which are the common ones, is 2.5% greater than the wingspan of the queen butterfly. The monarch's wingspan is 125% of the queen's wingspan. Hayden, what do you think? So be careful here. What percent do they increase by? So that 2.5 would add to the original total. What would the correct percent be, Hayden? If we go up by 2.5%, we just add 2.5 to my 100, and it becomes 102.5%. With that, we'll stop. We might do the last got it tomorrow, but tomorrow, just so you anticipate this, which might shock you, I plan that we will be reading and writing about math. So that you are shocked now and you can get over it. We're going to be reading and writing about math in math class tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.